So the next one is about capability, not happiness at work. So this was a post that was talking about a meta-analysis of 113 studies covering around 38,000 employees found a moderate correlation between job satisfaction and performance. But it's a real statistic, but it's not a decisive link that most leadership narratives would really get. So basically, the relationship isn't consistent. They're saying it's stronger in service roles where behaviour is visible, weaker in manufacturing where tasks are constrained, stronger in individualistic cultures, and weaker in collectivist ones. Self-reported performance data also inflates these numbers considerably. The deeper point on this is that satisfaction is a signal, not a mechanism. Things like autonomy, feedback, recognition, meaningful work don't improve performance by themselves. They improve it by changing the conditions under which people operate. The problem is that most organisations are still treating satisfaction as this destination. So they measure engagement, they run surveys, launch initiatives, but rarely stop to ask whether the system itself actually allows for people to perform at their best. The article says you don't get performance by making people happy. You get performance when the system allows capability to show up. And I love everything about this. But Chuck, if satisfaction is a signal rather than a driver, and the real question is whether the system allows that capability to show up, what does that mean for how organisations are currently spending their time and money on engagement? And are they solving the wrong problem entirely?
Satisfaction is such an interesting word to me because there's an element of contentment to it. It's not excited for, it's if you're satisfied. I think very few people, like, is satisfaction the goal of something that you're involved in, but maybe in some cases it should be. And as you were talking about this, I was thinking through this video that I saw probably on TikTok from a school janitor talking about the pride they had in their role, in what they did for the school. And most people probably wouldn't think about that from a janitor it seemed like an elementary school, the way this guy was talking about it. But his satisfaction came from saying he loved the fact that everything he did for his job did not put money in someone else's pocket. What he did for his job was actually building a safe and clean environment for teachers and kids. Mm-hmm. I thought, what a healthy way to view a role that I think a lot of other people probably look down on. And here this person not only takes a lot of pride in their role, but the satisfaction isn't coming from a place that we think of other people, where it's like driving revenue, blah, blah, whatever those numbers are. His was simply creating a safe and clean environment for these kids and teachers. And I thought that was such a healthy way. And I don't know that workplaces think about satisfaction in that way. They probably think about it from the metrics and the KPIs and all the other things they look at, not that individual person. Where do they drive satisfaction from?
And you've reminded me, actually, I'm going to have to go and dig it out after this conversation. There was some sort of equation I was looking at to do with satisfaction, and it was either linked to stress or burnout or rest or happiness. It's in one of those buckets of things of where satisfaction fits in terms of our ability to feel happiness or something like that. And we might have talked about it in previous episodes, but I'll try and dig it out, because there is definitely something about what makes us satisfied and kind of what's behind that. But I think, you know, he's talking about satisfaction, but he's also, to the point of this, is he's got the system is allowing capability. Like, he's doing the work, like he's doing the stuff he's capable. There's no friction in there. He's doing the stuff he wants to do. He's got autonomy. He's got meaningful work. You know, that is having an impact because the conditions that he's operating in are right. And I think,
and you know, what's funny about that, I want to jump in. What's funny about that in the video, I'm glad you mentioned that. He talks about how a really good day for him is when he doesn't see his manager.
Yeah.
Because he's just able to work. And a manager showing up is like an interruption for him. So from a capability, like the manager interrupts the capability because he wants to do the job. And I think sometimes satisfaction could actually show up in data as disengagement. Yeah. Because engagement so often looks at this discretionary effort. Well, if
Yeah.
you're dissatisfied, you're probably not giving. You're just doing the job.
Yeah. But this is what comes back to what we were talking about off air before this, in terms of what's in my brain about employee engagement. And is it really is that really what we're measuring? Should it just be satisfaction, that people are satisfied with things here and they do feel that they can show up and do this, rather than something like engagement, which is just now messy and all sorts of things about that. But it throws up a big question for me, and I think it's a good analysis of different studies that are quite broad to really bring this forward in terms of, don't focus on satisfaction, focus on the system allowing capability to show up.